Hello everyone. My speech today is going to be titled Consuming Ourselves, the Hidden Cost of Overconsumption. First, I want to set a scene. Picture this. It's 8 a.m. and you grab a coffee in a disposable cup. By noon, you've scrolled past 3 online ads convincing you to buy things that you don't really need, such as a new phone case, a new pair of sneakers, a new kitchen gadget, or something I feel like is very popular right now, a new water bottle. How many of us really need more than 1 or 2 water bottles? By the end of the day, you've tossed away packaging, leftovers, and maybe even an impulse purchase that you already regret buying. Now, take that and multiply it by billions of people. Every cup, every click, and every unnecessary purchase does add up. We live in an age of abundance, but also an age of excess. And while it might feel more convenient to be able to buy all this stuff, overconsumption is silently consuming us. It consumes our planet, our resources, and whether we realize it or not, it consumes our peace of mind. Our modern lifestyle revolves around the idea that more means better. But here's what that mindset is actually costing us. It does have an environmental impact, causes waste and pollution, causes global inequality, and also takes a psychological toll. First is environmental impact. The United Nations, in an article titled World Environment Day, warns that if everyone consumed like the average person in a developed country, we would need 3 Earths to sustain us. We are extracting resources faster than the planet can regenerate them. That leads to waste and pollution. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency reports that the average American throws away nearly 5 pounds of trash per day. This article is titled National Overview, Facts and Figures. Plastic waste chokes our oceans, and electronic waste poisons our soil. It also causes global inequality. Overconsumption in wealthy nations drives exploitation in poorer ones. From unsafe factories to environmental destruction, our demand for fast and cheap goods often hides the suffering of those producing them. And finally, whether we realize it or not, it does take a psychological toll on us. Research from the Journal of Consumer Research links materialism to lower happiness and greater anxiety. We're buying more, but in return, we're feeling less fulfilled. There is hope to this crisis, and it starts with making more intentional choices. Here are some ways that you can make a difference. First, you can buy less and choose better. Before buying something, ask yourself, do I really need this? And if it is something that you feel like you really need, consider supporting sustainable brands and buying products that are more built to last. It may cost you more upfront, but in return, it will save you in the long run. You can embrace minimalism. Focus more on experiences rather than possessions. You can declutter your space, which will also declutter your mind, and you'll be living with what truly adds value to your life. You can also recycle. Reduce your waste by avoiding single-use plastics and reusing containers. Also, you can recycle properly. More importantly, though, I encourage you to rethink what you consume in the first place. Living sustainably isn't about deprivation, it's about liberation. Freeing ourselves from the pressure to constantly consume and instead allowing our choices to reflect our values. Now picture this. Imagine a world where consumption doesn't come at a cost to our planet. Cities are powered by renewable energy, oceans are more free of plastic, and families are thriving on less stuff, but more connection to each other. Now picture the opposite, a planet drowning in waste, natural disasters intensifying, and future generations inheriting scarcity and instability. That is the path that we could be on unless we decide to make some changes. The difference between those two futures depends on the decisions that we make today, what we buy, what we waste, and what we value. So, what can you do to prevent this, and what choices can you make? It can't all happen at once. It's a big feat, and it doesn't just solve itself overnight. But you can start with small changes. I encourage you to commit to making one change this week. Maybe it's bringing your own cup for coffee, or cutting out fast fashion. Maybe it's even hosting a clothing swap instead of going to the mall and buying something new. Next, you can talk about overconsumption with friends and family. Awareness spreads influence, and talking about it raises that influence. And finally, you can support more sustainably. You can follow local zero waste initiatives and choose companies that prioritize the planet over profit. Each small act that we make is a vote for the kind of world that we want to live in. We don't need a few people living perfectly sustainably. We need millions living more consciously. So, I encourage you to make a couple of small steps this week to live a little bit more sustainably. Let's stop letting consumption consume us and start living with purpose, balance, and respect for the world that we share, and for each other as well.